What's up, everybody? It's halftime, NFL Week 1. We're back. The closing line, Donnie Rightside. I'm the big man on campus. Halftime is upon us, Donnie, in the first games of the afternoon. I believe we're at the half in New York and Jacksonville. That one 13-6. The under 42.5 looking pretty good so far. I needed to slow down a little bit, but we're under halfway there. Donnie, obviously the big story, and not every game is at half just yet. We have a few games that are approaching halftime. Some games are going to be a little bit. I mean, a game like that Bills-Ravens game going to be a little bit time. But the big story, Donnie, as we welcome you in, there's a missing persons report out, and it's on that New Orleans Saints defense. This game might go over in the first half, Donnie.
No, it's looking good right now. If I'm taking a look, I don't have the game up on either the red zone or the monitor screen there, but it looks like we got New Orleans, Jeff, driving around the 2-minute warning. So you're right. Both of us love that play. I had two plays that I like to give out. The first one was the early game, was the New Orleans over. It doesn't get any easier than that. And the second game that I'm looking at is Arizona a little bit later, Jeff. But I know you were on that as well, and I think we both had the same mindset all week long. Drew Brees in the dome, Fitzpatrick on the other side. What's not to love about it?
Yeah, you have a live total in that game. It's 75.5. Right now. You did discuss 2 minutes to go or so. Saints are driving. I mean, you might see 80, 90 points in that game, a wild one. And even with that live total, 75.5, I mean, you're basically almost at, you're at 48 right now. You basically need, you're going to need 28 points in the second half for that to go over. We'll see, though, on a halftime number. That's more of a live number right now. Just kind of go down some of the games here, see what's going on, Donnie. We got about 30 seconds left out at Minnesota. A big fumble before the half by Alfred Morris. And, Donnie, the problem with the Niners came up to haunt them. Bad running game, pretty good run defense. You're on the goal line. You got to find a way to score points there. 10-3 Minnesota as we head in.
Yeah, it looks like they're just running the looks like they're driving about maybe the 45, limited time. They might be able to set up for a field goal. But you're right about that, Jeff. There's an epidemic in the NFL, and that is reaching the football out for no reason. He got stacked up at the 1.5. Is it smart in your mind, Jeff, to lean the football out from the 1.5 with all his body ground? Hold on to the ball. Why do you do that? And then if you watch the Jacksonville Jaguar-Giant game, Jeff, TJ Yeldon was within an inch of losing the football on the goal line, reaching out, which would have been a first and goal from the half-yard line. Tuck the ball, man.
Yeah, odd decision. I don't know what that's all about, but they're moving 10-3 Minnesota. 10-3 though. I mean, I feel like Minnesota should be up a little bit more than 7. We'll see what they do towards the end of the half here. New England is up 14-6, 2 minutes to go in that one. Deshaun Watson has an interception. I think Lamar Miller, Deshaun Watson handoff. That was a fumble early on. Yep. New England only up 8, though. Houston hanging around, Donnie. Haven't played particularly well in this game, but they're only down 8 with the ball with 2 minutes to go. They could maybe even go down just 1 heading into halftime. That'd be a big win for Houston if they can just at least get within 5 or 1 here.
Yeah, no, some interesting. You're right. You can't fumble the first play. Gave New England some free points on that one. But also Tom Brady with a bad interception in the first half. So he doesn't look like he's all there yet. We'll see if Houston's able to hang on. But from the reports, I haven't watched a ton of that football game. Maybe a little bit tentative, Jeff, from the quarterback for Houston. This one coming back on injury. But long way to go. It's the first game. Look, a lot of these guys just really getting into their play max from over the summer. Like you're heading into halftime. They haven't even played this much yet. They still have a whole half to go, Jeff.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. New Orleans Saints, they're in the red zone, I believe, around the 15-yard line. So, I mean, you got plenty of time here if you're New Orleans. Listen, they're plus 110 to win this game. You'd be down basically, if you could score here, you're not a touchdown. This is anybody's game. Now you're getting very close, Donnie. Look, I still think New Orleans finds a way to win this game. You only go down 7 heading into the half, but they got to get the defense figured out. The New Orleans Saints, like 300 yards already for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a backup quarterback. Pittsburgh up 7-0 at the halftime. We should be getting a number here any day now. The under in the second half looks pretty good. I'm sure we'll get it around 21. Cleveland just can't move the fucking ball. How about that revamped offense, Donnie? Not really working.
Yeah, I mean, look, as much as it's one of those games, Jeff, where you look at and don't you just like in the back of your head just go, Pittsburgh, just lay them out like 21-0 or just something ridiculous. So you get that whole I watched them on Hard Knocks and boy, a change of culture is in there. And Tyrod Taylor is going to be changing up the atmosphere. Now, look, there's still a long way to go. Big Ben is playing awful in this football game, but Cleveland is Cleveland on offense. They just can't do anything.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's pretty irritating. Donnie, I want to get on the alive over in the Saints game. 78.5 I can get right now. I mean, you're at 48. I mean, you're going in. I mean, you'd have what, 55 points at the half? I want to
and what you like also is New Orleans is that, like, you can factor in right now, New Orleans punches us in for 24. So any reason why they can't jot up another 3 touchdowns in the second half? And again, the whole premise of the total was Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger, good and bad, and the good is happening right now. So you're even waiting for some more bad, which is pick sixes, fumbles, and taking it back to the house. Hey, look, it's a high number, but it feels pretty good. What we get at 49.5 on the show? Took it at 50 with a local here. So I mean, I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, let's look at some other games here. We'll get a second half number here on that.
Yeah, we got, by the way, I just want to update some second half numbers, Jeff, coming in. The Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Giants at the half is a pick'em, and a 20.5 is that number. Now, usually, what do you have like first initial thoughts on that, Jeff? 20.5 in the second half. They have to get 3 touchdowns. What has shown you in this game that either team is going to go really fast, except an Eli Manning maybe interception or a forced touchdown by his part? Jacksonville looks like they're pretty methodical out there. 3 touchdowns is a tough one, maybe.
And
right?
No Leonard Fournette either. Fournette went out of this game. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think the weather's going to get worse in this game. I don't think it's going to get any better. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to envision this one being any way of a shootout. Eli Manning, 11 for 12 for 98 yards, only 6 points to show for it. It's been a field goal fest here. Gun to my head, I would say that game stays under. I think it's like, 20 to 12, 20 to 14, something like that. I don't think we're going to see a ton of points, but I'm happy with where I have it, 42.5. That was one play we talked about early. Donnie, let me ask you, do you think Jameis Winston is would you rather have Fitzpatrick than Winston right now?
Well, Fitzpatrick's game to game, right? That's where you want Fitzpatrick. I don't think you want Fitzpatrick for a 16-game season, but he can fill in some certain spots there. He's an old man, so he's going to be taking the hits. He's going to make bad reads and decisions, but for a game-to-game basis, he's a good backup quarterback. I don't think he's going to take anything away from Jameis Winston, though.
Jared Schrader asking why we didn't put out that as a pick. Listen, Jared, I don't think we've said it, I think, many times. Donnie and I don't really bet the first week or two of the NFL. I think we've discussed that. We're giving out plays just for free. I mean, right now.
I don't bet first 3 weeks because everything. Look, I have a really good read on week 1 out there, but it's almost like a crystal ball saying, I think this is going to happen. After a couple of weeks, you pretty much know what's probably going to happen in football games.
I think it's time to, like Aaron Rodgers say, relax. Okay, it's September 9th. We have basketball and football till April. We just relax. Can't bet every game. You got to slow and steady wins the race. Donnie Rightside. What do we have in a total in that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, second half?
Let's see. We got any numbers posted here across the board. 20, Jeff, even on the board, and a pick'em in that game as well. So I guess either team, they're expecting not much scoring in the second half for anybody to score. That's a pick'em, and 20, Jeff.
Yeah, 20. I mean, Buffalo looks just lost offensively. I mean, they have no first downs, Donnie. In this game, they have 25 yards on 22 plays. I mean, do you have any reason to think they're going to score in the second half? This team has no first downs. I mean, let me say it again. Buffalo has 0 first downs. Yeah. I mean, this game is looking bleak, very bleak right now. Buffalo looks bad. That's a game, Donnie, we got to keep our eye on. They have been wretched.
Yes. In the rain, too. Yeah, I mean, with this, Baltimore probably is going to take the air of the football the rest of the game and, laugh at that offense. But that is Buffalo's season here, Jeff. It's really a throwaway season. So you would hope that they get the young kid at quarterback there. They have a ton of dead money against the cap, so they'll have plenty of money to spend in the offseason in draft picks. Pretty much a throwaway year for Buffalo, though. So Bills Mafia, they gave you a playoff run last year. Sit on.
What are your thoughts on? I mean, would you ever consider going to Allen here in the second half?
No. There's no point. What's the point in the pouring rain where you're down? Or again, there's no element of surprise anymore. It's not 0-0. Like, ooh, they can run the ball. No, you're gonna have to throw the ball in the second half in the rain. I don't put the rookie anywhere near that situation.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do in this football game. I'm gonna go. Wow. I mean, you look at the team total right now for Buffalo. It's 7.5. Wow. What second half? You said what's the total?
And they're not kicking field goals. Yeah. So you're looking at 7.5, Jeff. That theoretically means for the Buffalo Bills, what, 2 touchdowns? Are they going to settle for a field goal on 4th and 1 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter from the 28-yard line? No, they're going to go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to play that. I want to play under 7.5. I mean, minus 120. I can't see Buffalo scoring more than 7 points. I just don't. They don't have a fucking first down. And the Ravens are good on defense, and the weather is bad. And this is probably the worst weather game of them all, Donnie. I mean, it looks pretty barren. By the way, 31-24 Saints. They grab a touchdown, so we're down 7 now. 55 points in the first half. But yeah,
hey, Jeff, real quick on this. Chief safety Eric Berry is officially inactive for the game versus the Chargers. So they're down another player in that secondary. Yeah. So it looks like maybe you don't have to worry about that half of a point that we were looking at in that Charger game. So
yeah. I mean, the line's still at 3.5. I mean, team total looks pretty good for LA as well. I mean, maybe you worry about their defense, but yeah, I mean, 3.5 at home, even money. That looks pretty good. But Donnie, another game, 2 games that we didn't discuss, but 2 games that we thought would go the way they have, and they've come to fruition, Donnie. Who's going to give you the Colts and Dolphins, both of which are up at the half and have looked pretty good? Dolphins maybe should even be up a little bit more.
Are the Dolphins at the half, or are they at like a lightning delay right now?
There's a delay
on my screen. Yeah,
I'm seeing delay.
South Florida, right?
Yeah, always. Weather delays have become a normal thing now in sports, for at least for us in football. Yeah. But how about Indy, Donnie? 16-10. They're at the half there. The over looking pretty decent so far for our guest Alex. Indy looking good here, hanging around, Donnie, like you thought they would.
Yeah, 16-10. You got 26 points. You're more than you're a little bit more than halfway there. We'll see if they open it up. And what did we think that would have happened in that game, Jeff? Some interceptions early. Luck wasn't, Andrew Luck and AJ Green with an interesting punch out fumble at midfield. So these teams are feeling each other out, but that'd be a great call to take that over because theoretically I'm looking towards the under in that one. Now, still, there's a long way to go and see who has the lead if they slow it and take the air out of the football. But Alex did give that out as an over. I was leaning more towards an under type situation, that 49 number.
Teddy Covers joining us. Teddy Covers, welcome in. He says it's going to be a long time till Dolphins-Titans go to half. Yeah, I mean, lightning delays suck. I mean, you got to worry. You basically, it's always some sort of, even in college, what's it, a half hour on every
1 hour. 1 hour per lightning strike within 8 miles in college, yes.
I think it's a half hour, Donnie. You might want to check.
No, I think it's an hour. I think it really is.
Because the other night in that TCU game, it just kept getting pushed back. You got to give them a half hour to warm up, I believe. But
it's a half hour to warm up, but it's a 1 hour lightning strike, which is ridiculous.
Touchdown, New England. New England scores. They go up 21-6. That's a big touchdown right before half. That's what they do, though. They score those touchdowns right before the half. I am going to, Donnie, go on. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills under 7.5 with their team total. I'm going to rock with that one.
Yeah, you also got looks like taking a look at the numbers here, Jeff. Baltimore dry. I mean, not to say they're going to score, but anytime you have Tucker, it doesn't matter what conditions you're kicking in. They're on the 35-yard line heading in Baltimore, so any more points in that one. So again, we're looking at the same situations there with that Buffalo. I think that's a pretty good number there if you could try to dissect it. 7.5, you take the under. Again, we're looking at 2 touchdowns there, so.
Yeah, I'm going to rock with that one. I'm going to go under 7.5 live on the team total for the Buffalo Bills. Donnie, what else are you looking at here? We're starting to get some games that are
let's get some updates. Yeah, we got that halftime of the New Orleans-Tampa Bay game, Jeff. New Orleans actually opens up -6, -125 for the second half, which I think that's a pretty good number right there because it's 7 points. They're in the Dome. You think they can win that football game. That's not bad, a -6, because you're just saying, need the ones just to win the football game. We're going to get that cover. Over under, Jeff, second half, 27. Look, they already scored a ton of points. Are they going to shoot it out into the 40s, both teams? Probably not, but 28, Jeff, that's 4 touchdowns. You get Drew Brees moving in that first quarter with a quick touchdown, you never know what happens there.
Donnie, according to Article 4, Rule 17 of the NFL policies, emergency situations, it is impossible to begin or continue the game due to an emergency is deemed imminently threatened by such emergency, lightning, flooding, proper precautions. What are they here? Do you know what the rule is, Donnie? How long they wait generally?
I think it's different in the NFL. College is a full hour for the game.
Yeah,
I don't think it's because if you saw the NFL game with the Eagles the other time, I don't think it was 1 hour. They just waited for the storm to clear and just got right back out there. So I think it might be a little bit different in the pros.
A couple comments here.
Giants are underway, Jeff, so they're out of the gate there. Still have a couple games at halftime here, though.
Yeah, they're going quick. LA Rams -14.5 at +300. All right. Well, you're taking a shot there, Oscar.
Yeah, just take them regular, Oscar. Just take them regular.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get into some of those alternate numbers in NFL.
Yeah, you win the game by 14. You pegged it exactly correct, and you end up taking a loss on a wager, which only needed to cover like 4 points. That hurts.
I mean, sometimes greed is not good, as they say. How many yachts can you water ski behind, as they say? Just the NFL's tough enough. Anyone got an update on Leonard Fournette?
I don't have an update because I have my sound off, but I would doubt he comes back. Hamstring injury, game one. It's not really something you're gonna pop him back into in the rain, you know.
Yeah, you gotta love Donnie Twitter. Like when you Google like Leonard Fournette, first comment I see at Fournette, stop being a pussy. You gotta love this man.
He does have a habit of getting hurt. By the way, Jeff, another update here. Touchdown, Baltimore Ravens, 26-0, about to make it 27-0. Another one. I think Alex had the over in this football game. Not getting any help from the Bills, but maybe get some turnovers in the second half can push that over. Because I think it was like 40, 41.5 or whatever you got that at. 39? It closed that, something like that?
Yeah, they might do it themselves here.
How about that?
Roethlisberger, 3 interceptions in the first half, and they're still winning.
And still no points. Is that the Browns not in the nut? God damn.
Left massive. Giants almost get delay a penalty on first play after halftime, forced to burn a timeout with 15. Yeah, well, Jesus Christ. How does that happen? What a joke, Donnie. That's something Tom Coughlin teams would do. I mean, and you'd see Tom Coughlin on the sidelines with his hands on his hips, that stupid look on his face. Eli he's not the smartest tool in the shed. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and it looks like the Giants are punting again. But again, I preface this by saying, like, it's game one. They still have a shot to win this football game. Couldn't they win the football game? Of course. I mean, it's in the rain. They're at home. They're still going to have a good shot. It looks like they got a penalty for a first down. Giants be getting a lot of really good calls in this game, go the direction which you need. But if the Giants lose, they're expected to lose today. So I wouldn't lose too much focus and say, well, I thought Saquon Barkley was going to be a John Madden-type football player and go off, or Odell Beckham doesn't like he's doing much. That's a superior elite defense out there that's locking them down. Don't read into it too much, Giant fans. I don't have a high season for the Giants, but you can't take it out of game one. They're outclassed in this game, but they still have a decent shot to win it, though, probably.
Yeah. Donnie, as far as any live bets, are you looking towards any second halfers here?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a lot of them to fill in to try to get like that best of the board. I know we talked about that 6 minus 125 in the New Orleans game, Jeff. How about this one? Chris just opened up at -9 for New Orleans in the second half. So if you got that one quick at 6, congratulations, because that's now 9 at most outlets. 5 times it's -6, -150. But now it looks like that number's moved to 9. San Francisco, Jeff, Minnesota at the half. Pick 'em coming out for the second half. Over under 21.5. And let's see what else we have. Cincinnati is -1.5 to open the second half. Jeff, 23.5 as the over-under in that one. So some interesting numbers.
You said Minnesota's pick 'em in the second half?
Minnesota is actually pick 'em -130, and some outlets, Jeff, -0.5.
Yeah, I kind of like that in the second half. I think they kind of pull away towards the end of this game. Live total, by the way, the full game live total. Bucs Saints 82.5. A lot of points in that one.
Another 15-yard penalty by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They almost pull Saquon Barkley's head off. Would have been, I think, a third down and long, which now is another first down out there. So a lot of penalties here. Week 1 for that Jacksonville defense.
Second half, Bengals -1.5 total, 24.5. A lot of people expect the Bengals to win this game, Donnie. Does that tickle your fancy at all? 1.5. Can they make this a little bit more of a game? I mean, it's only a 1-score game right now. Can they get back into the lead?
I mean, we're asking the same question we did before the game, right, Jeff? I mean, they're not up. Now you're asking them not only just to win the game, where it'd be nice if they had a 16-10 lead, but they're down 16-10. You're saying, hey, Andy Dalton, go out on the road now and have a second-half comeback. I just don't trust it. Do you trust that?
No. And again, I like the Colts to start the game, so I think they find a way to kind of keep their foot, control the game here. Tennessee, Miami, they're still obviously we talked about them there. Whether I forgot about that. Donnie, kind of wrap it up here. I mean, as far as the 1 o'clock, what are you looking at? Anything? Are you going to make anything that we should play here?
Second half. I mean, look, nothing really sticking out to me here. Let me see if we can take a look. Some of these games are already underway. Let's take a look at that Houston-New England game, Jeff. 24.5 in the second half, 24 at 5 dimes and a pick 'em. You would think that Houston would be able to get back in, Jeff, but I actually like the over 24. Let's make that an official play. We'll go over 24 in that Houston-New England second half here. So that is going to be official.
You would think Houston would kind of get back into the game a little bit. and put some points on the board. I mean, that game looked to be a pretty high-scoring game, I kind of thought. 4 o'clock games, Donnie. We talked about the LA Chargers. They're looking really good.
Yeah.
Carolina and Denver. And Moneyline Parlay people will be thinking how that loses. Chargers, Carolina, and Denver. How does that lose, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, it's all low numbers. So, I mean, theoretically, one of those is probably going to go down. But I'm looking forward to the 2 games I really wanted to watch today, Jeff, Giants, Jags, and then down in the South, the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. I mean, we talked about it earlier a little bit there. I just think Carolinas can make more plays than the Dallas Cowboys can at this point. Again, you're at home. It's hard to lose. It's hard to go on the road and beat decent football teams in their own house.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Jags defense is dirty. Yeah, they are dirty. They're good, but they're maybe dirty per se as well. The Berry injury kills the Chiefs. I mean, we talked about already their inability in the secondary. You take out the one good player for them, the one captain, the one leader. You got to be real concerned if you're a Kansas City Chief fan. Look, I already said I think Mahomes will struggle. Carolina, I'm still feeling good on them. You can actually get them at 2.5 at Heritage, -120 if you're willing to lay a little bit, but 3 the prevailing number there. Denver, they're still at 3. Arizona, Donnie, we talked about them. They're up at 2 at most books. We talked at 1.5, so a little bit of good movement there for Arizona.
No, you're right about that. And it's just a sneaky spot. It's one of those games, Jeff, where you have the feel which you say, you know what? It's a game that not a lot of people are taking a look at because it has the same MO feel to me, Jeff, as the Titans-Dolphins game, the Colts-Indianapolis game, and also the obviously the third game being Washington and the Arizona Cardinals. I wasn't high on them last year, but let's not forget that team was a bad football team and was coached to an 8-8. There's still some talent left there when they're healthy. David Johnson getting the big contract. You know, he feels better about that now. Sammy Sleeves, I talked about, as long as he's upright, he's a decent quarterback. And they're at home in this one to win by a field goal. It has that same sort of feel to me, Jeff, as the other two.
Yeah, the 4 o'clock card looks pretty solid as far as where you want to go. But I think we've learned, time and time again, taking 4 favorites on one time kind of level is probably not the greatest way to go, Donnie. I mean, and that's why for me in week 1, I mean, you have to be selective. Look, I would under no circumstance, if you're a bettor, go out and say, okay, I'm going to take all 4 favorites here. They look all like all the right sides. Listen, you're not going to win that. You're not going to go 4-0. I mean, it's unlikely you could, but I mean, what's the likelihood, Donnie, of picking 4 favorites all at low numbers? I mean, pick one you like, pick the strongest one you like, and run with it. I wouldn't be getting involved laying 4 favorites, Donnie. It's not something that proposition-wise.
No, and especially, Jeff, what's the word of the wise? Laying 4 favorites, especially if they're on the road. So, I mean, if you're going to take, we look for spots that you try to line up, Jeff, you know what I mean? Which even like early in the season, even that Chargers hook, you sort of get a little bit like, ooh, at 3.5, I could see it maybe, come down to it or something like that, which now I actually like a little bit better with Berry out in the inexperienced secondary coming into it. But you're right. I like to take low numbers where it says, you know what? I just have to win the football game to get the cover here. Those are the ones I like to lean on early.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I want to see what the Charger team total is in that game. I think that is something that I'm considering here. Team props. What do we got? Total points.
Hey, Jeff, by the way, also, because I know we have a couple minutes here. Let me see a couple of these games still at the half in just a few moments. Let's hit on that night game a little bit, too, because that's a really interesting one to watch, that Bears and Green Bay Packer game.
Yeah, real quick, 26.5 on a total with the Chargers.
Team total?
Yeah. That's
about right. That's about right though, because you have them pegged for that mid-range number, and they should get there. We're not worried about the one thing we're not worried about, Jeff, out in LA is what? The weather. So
yeah, exactly. Now, Donnie, on Bet365, which I'm looking at right now, you can bet on result and total combined. Chargers and over 48.5 plus 190.
What was it? What was that again?
Chargers and over 48.5.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, because the one thing I always get worried about, like Phillip Rivers, I always call their offense death by 1,000 cuts. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of 3-4 yard plays that he just dumps the football off on those crossing routes. So they're not really that home run team. I would probably lay off that total in that situation.
Let's go to tonight's game. Green Bay, Chicago. Green Bay 7 across the board. What do you got in total here, Donnie?
Yeah, it looks like we got, Jeff, opened up 47-48, now sitting at about 46 there. I haven't taken a look. I assume the weather's okay in Milwaukee, in that Green Bay area. Let's see. Yeah, 58 and clear, so you're not – and a light wind in that one. But, again, you're banking on Green Bay is probably going to come out and score some points, even though Chicago Bears defense is good, just what Aaron Rodgers does. What do we get out of Mitchell Trubisky tonight, Jeff? Are we going to get a seasoned second-year quarterback, or are we going to make some mistakes early because it's opening night?
Well, I think you're going to make some mistakes opening night. It's a road game. It's a night game. It's the only game on. It's a not new offense, but it's an offense that has some different hands in it. How will Mark Helfrich be involved in this offense? Look, they want him to be the face of the franchise, but there's some new guys coming in. Kevin White back off injury. You have a new, real good defense for Green Bay. I think they make a big step up this season. I think a lot of people are thinking Khalil Mack's going to play a ton. You wonder how many plays he even plays in this game. I think sharps are on the Bears, but listen, I like the Packers. I think they're going to be more of a defensive team this year, but anytime you have Aaron Rodgers and a good defense, that's scary to me. I want to say I think Green Bay win 28-17 or something.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one because I want to see Green Bay and how they approach it. I know Sean Thompson said the Bears need a couple weeks. I think, Jeff, we talked about a lot over the summer where don't judge the Bears game to game here. Judge the Bears on their season long because I think they're a team of the future where in a year or two maybe Aaron Rodgers slows down out there. You never know where Minnesota's at, but I think they have the right concept of what to do. And it looks like, Jeff, we got a Browns touchdown out here right now. I had to interrupt that. That's just monumentous right now.
Who scored?
Tyrod Taylor maybe on a run. I didn't see.
It's Tyrod Taylor.
I like to call him Tyrod now. Hey, look, Rozier and Tyrod, boys for life.
Giants with a field goal, 13-9, a field goal city in that game. Keep that going. We're also about to go live here in Tampa, New Orleans. We're sitting already on a winner in that game with the over. So, Donnie, the only official play for me in the second half it's more of just a live wager. I'm going to go under 7.5 Buffalo team total.
I like it. I've told you, I think we're banking on saying they ain't kicking field goals. And trust me, if they go down on a first and goal and have a 4th and 2 from the 6-yard line and a 26-0 game and kick a field goal, I got a feeling, Jeff, you'll be pretty upset with that. But then again, for the rest of the way, they're not going to kick anymore anyway. So you basically need 2 scores out of the Bills. And, Jeff, what has shown you in the first half that the Bills can go on 2 scoring drives here?
Aaron Rodgers needs to prove his contract. Listen, dude, Aaron Rodgers is he's the best quarterback in the league, dude. What are you talking about? Vittalis, that might be a joke of yours. I know you're a jokester. Is that a joke or are you being serious? Teddy covers. Bears were the single most vanilla team in the NFL.
They had no weapons. No weapons. Yeah, I don't even know if it was vanilla by default. I just think they were vanilla because who the hell did they have last year, right? Howard and maybe Tariq Cohen and a bunch of nobodies at wide receiver with a rookie quarterback. Yeah, it can't be any worse. That's for sure.
No, he means in preseason, I think. I think them and the Eagles are probably the most vanilla offenses in. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Nagy's kind of one of those offensive minds, Donnie, as they say. We know he is a guy that will be probably pretty creative at the offensive position. A guy that Donnie is from Jersey. He went to Delaware, I believe. Matt Nagy. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I think you did. Didn't he play arena football too?
Matt Nagy's actually from Manheim Central. He went to Manheim Central, a school close to where I live now. They're a big powerhouse up in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Central, big time team there. He's a local guy. Was with the Eagles for a while. He's kind of moved his way up. Was quarterback coach in KC. Yeah, sure. It's Andy Reid disciple, as they say. But yeah, Donnie, I think that'll wrap it up here. I mean, we're starting to get into the second halves here. Hopefully, we wish all of you luck on your plays. For me, it's just 1 second half play. Want to obviously hope that Indy can kind of finish out Miami. That'll look good for my reputation. But I also want that Giant game to stay under the number. I'd like to see the Carolina Panthers do some damage. And I did take live under 7.5 team total for the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't be surprised if they remain at 0 for the rest of this game.
Just to recap for myself also, the nice little 1-0 here in the closing line to start with that New Orleans over we grabbed in the first half. And the second half wager, I'm on the over 24 New England and Houston to get over that number. And then the 3 o'clock game, or the 4 o'clock game, on the West Coast, just going to take a shot there. We took it at -1.5 on the first show here on the closing line today with the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see if we get maybe a clean sweep. Hey, never fall to 2-1, Jeff. Put extra money in your pocket. So
Tampa Bay just completed a big 46.
Big one. There you go. Let's go, Tampa Bay. Yes.
What a awful defense. Christ, the New Orleans Saints. Jesus. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up. Everyone enjoy the rest of the NFL Sunday. Donnie and I will be back tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, recapping it all on the right side of campus. Join us for that. Enjoy your day and have fun watching the NFL.